What is it that makes a reliable SUV? They're all great when they're brand new with warranty and performance and styling. The reality is after 4 or 5 years, warranty comes and goes, then you start to feel the burn of what a lacking reliability really means. Well, reliability isn't about high cost of maintenance and servicing. It is in fact about a vehicle that may or may not leave you in a lurch and fail in such a way that it prevents the vehicle from being driven. I'm just gonna do a tour of 8 very popular SUVs that people are buying today, and there's one in that list that's amazingly reliable, and I'm gonna share why and how that manufacturer has it all figured out. Let's get into it now. All right, so that first one on the list, of course, we're looking at here is an Infiniti QX50. Now here's a classic example of a popular SUV that a lot of people are loving. Yeah, you have these great grills. You know, Infiniti has this amazing grill set. Of course, they got this amazing little front chin spoiler, and I love this LED style right here. This piece here actually really does look sharp to me. I love the looks of that. Love that detail. Great look, chrome finish, gunmetal gray type rims. Look at the mirror. Love that. Great details. Two-tone handles right there, looks amazing. And as well, this roof rack to haul your bed bug infested mattress to the dumpster. Yeah, that's great. But then how about the back of the vehicle? What are people loving about that? It has this nice chrome detail, beautiful tail lights, similar like a BMW. You got another little accents and details there. Then look down here, you see tailpipes, very carboned up over there and over here. Quite an interesting look, and it's all-wheel drive, and just the interior is amazing. So people are buying these from a stylistic perspective. It's a great looking vehicle and actually has great performance with certain engine configurations. However, Nissan has struggled with certain things, and being an Infiniti, it is essentially the big brother luxury version of a Nissan. Timing chains have been a problem with many Infiniti and Nissan products. Something you've got to be aware of, depending on the generation and the year. You have to keep an eye on that. Another problem is up here, the big sunroof up top has been known to actually crack and split in many cases, and in some cases blown out completely and left the person inside covered in a shower and a rain of glass. Just devastating. One other big thing that I have to comment, and the worst part is Nissan's failure, unfortunately, with this CVT, the continuously variable transmission that puts the power from the engine to the drive and the wheels. There's a transmission and they use, I call it a rubber band transmission. It's not rubber band, it's a series of belts and pulleys. Essentially, they're more of a steel type of configuration. Nissan and Infiniti have struggled with a lot of recalls, problems, lawsuits, and it's been a real issue. Now, a lot of that is because their commitment financially to that manufacturer, Jatco, of the transmissions, and so they want to go down with that burning ship, so to speak, and they keep using those Jatco transmissions, and these CVTs are notoriously unreliable, and unfortunately, Nissan just does not get past that. So let's move over here. We have another Nissan product. This is a good size, mid-size SUV, very popular. They followed a different train. Toyota and Nissan were also very close competitors. The engines are usually pretty solid. Timing chains can be a problem. There have been cases where people have talked about the brakes not working at speed and then causing a vehicle that was actually dangerously almost out of control. So allegedly there were some braking issues there, but they do have some cool features like that. Chrome detail on here, like a one-touch accent right there. Massive roof rack. You got these laser cut type wheels, a little on the low grade side, lots of profile, so it's more of a luxury cushy ride. It's not meant to be as performance oriented, it's more of a floaty ride. We have more of a tail light, just a generic, simple, not quite as slick Rick as the Infiniti over there. And of course this is the Pathfinder, as we said. Four-wheel drive, and this is the SL model specifically. We look down here, we do have chrome here. Lots of sensors, plug-ins. We do have a trailer hitch, so they say you can tow some stuff with this unit. Although I'm not so sure I'd want to be towing a whole lot, because again, up to 2020, you have vehicles with that CVT transmission and potentially lots of problems with that CVT transmission. We can also expect some electric issues with these vehicles, and of course coolant leaks, strange noises, timing chains. So there have been some problems here. Now, they're not the most unreliable vehicles on the planet, but again, consistently Nissan struggles with reliability. And here's the next SUV that's very, very popular. This allows a lot of people to get into the luxury car segment, and of course, it's a mid-size, almost borderline subcompact, but certainly a mid-size SUV by most standards. What we're looking at is a Mercedes-Benz, and it's a GLC 300. So very similar to the C-Class 300, this actually features a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 2-liter displacement, and makes approximately 245 horsepower. So it makes decent power, great efficiency when you're easy on the throttle, Unfortunately, a lot of manufacturers are now having to go down to a 2-liter displacement just for fuel efficiency, the carbon emissions, and that whole concept of using big V8s and V6s and twin turbos are going in the way of the dodo bird. So Mercedes has gone right on the wagon, gone off the deep end with that, and of course they have great touches. We look at this. I love that detail on the tailpipes there. Of course they can tow. You've got a little bit of a tow hitch assembly configuration there and more tailpipes. Great LED lights, and in Mercedes world, a 4MATIC means it's all-wheel drive. But you'll notice the roof racks are much nicer and integrated on the Mercedes than you noticed on the Nissan specifically. Nice chrome detail here, chrome handles, and I really love these laser cut rims by Mercedes-Benz. Two-tone handles, and as we circle around to the front here, we can see Mercedes, a lot of technology. They've got some of the best lighting systems in the industry right now, just because they light up so much and so far that they're rated a safer vehicle because of the way they illuminate. So that ranks very well. Lots of great detail here. Lots of chrome, by the way. Not the greatest. This chrome does tend to peel sometimes, but the 3-pointed star means that you can drive a modern-day German luxury vehicle and feel proud that you've bought yourself one of those. But the unfortunate part is a little bit of fragility, if you will. Some of these are fragile. So we're talking about Mercedes has now moved to a world where they're much more complex. Pillar-to-pillar screens, emergency systems, safety systems, performance systems, and all of that integrates, makes a very complex system. And so Mercedes-Benz is leading the charge over a lot of manufacturers of creating new technology. Well, that technology now is causing some troubles in the long run. I've also noticed a lot of these are a little bit fragile, and as well you have to note, because that 2-liter engine now is sourced from Renault. Yes, that's right, it's a French-built engine. So in other words, it's not the most reliable. If you use poor fuel or you don't take care of your maintenance, people have commented that there's potentially a high risk in knocking a hole in the piston because of detonation. So make sure you keep good fueling and of course good maintenance, and it should help you. There's also been lots of people commenting about the all-wheel drive system, and the front differential starts to make some noise as you turn it, and there's a dragging sensation or a clicking or a knocking noise that you can get because of that. That, unfortunately, I can speak to firsthand because I own a C300 Mercedes myself, and it uses literally the same drivetrain. And because of that, sadly enough, I can speak that we're starting to get a little bit of that front end noise, and that's not uncommon. Lots of people talking about it. So Mercedes, their complex systems, slightly under-engineered from a durability standpoint, over-engineered from a technology standpoint, means that I think reliability is going to suffer in short amount of years. Moving on, we're talking about BMW now, and we all know about BMW. They've had quite an up and down reputation. Depends on the generation. Some of them are great, some of them aren't so great. We've got sensors and cameras all over the place here. Look at this, we have the laser LEDs. So you got the blue filament in there? That's the laser LED right there. And that means it can shoot way down this, as far can see. So those LEDs are great, they're amazing. Of course, down here you have these beautiful laser cut wheels, more ventilation here for detail. Of course, we've got these wonderful mirrors like that. And look, one touch access, get in. Another nicely integrated, just flows right in there, beautiful. Then we look right here, love that LED, the modern style X5. We're looking at the 50i. Now that's where this gets interesting. We're talking about the 50i. X-Drive means it's all-wheel drive. Yes, look, big tailpipes here, but sadly, BMW and the X5s, or many of their generations, are depending on the engines. And so some of the trouble areas they've had are coolant leaks. Often coolant leaks are coming from water pumps. A lot of them were electronic water or electric water pumps. We had thermostat issues, coolant leaks from hoses. They use those snap fittings, which tend to crack and split and leak after a while because they're plastic on the ends, rubber in between. So it's an inherent design theme. It's quick to assemble in the factory, not so quick to disassemble when the second owner, third owner owns it. Oil filter housing, you got a cooler oil filter. There's 2 sets of O-rings. Either one can leak, both can leak. You get oil, coolant, mixing, everything. It's just horrifying, and we talk about valve cover gaskets are a problem for a lot of these vehicles. So one thing that I have to comment specifically is the 50i. This has the N63 engine. That's a twin turbo 4.4 liter V8. Great power, and that's what BMW does great. The performance, the driving experience. The problem was the earlier generations of that N63 were problematic to say the least. Lots of troubles. Heavy oil consumption, that hot V created an earlier deterioration of valve guides and valve guide seals. It was a mess. timing chain issues, early battery draw on these vehicles. Now later generations, they are getting better and they're improving on cooling, stability, strength in the chassis and the frame and the case of the engine. But unfortunately, the earlier generations were rough. Whereas the 6-cylinder vehicles are often a little better and the 4-cylinders sometimes just a little too stressed. What we're looking at here is a Volvo. Beautiful. As you can see, the modern day Volvos look great. The XC90 is a beautiful piece. T6 all-wheel drive, and this is a Polestar engineered. So some of these vehicles, you can actually get a 4-cylinder engine, then they put a supercharger on it, then they also put a turbocharger on it, and then some of them, they put electrification on it on top of it. You have 3 or 4 different modes of adding power and performance. What do you think that means for reliability? It means a surefire way to see some imminent failures happening on these vehicles. The great technology, amazing. They're reaching the boundaries of what can be done, but unfortunately they've had some issues. They do have some amazing lighting, chrome detail, also this beautiful laser cut type of wheel, almost like the BMW has. If you look here and you look at the BMW, back to the Volvo, it looks very similar. I love that chrome. See, this two-tone just adds that touch of class. It's a sharp looking vehicle. Some say it's luxury vehicle, some say not. I would argue that this is a great vehicle and it competes with anything from BMW, Audi, Benz. But it's that technology and the drivetrains and some of the electrics and the safety systems that have been problematic for these guys. And it's they're trying to do too much with too little once again. Here we have Volkswagen Atlas. This thing is a beast. Yes, Volkswagen decided there was a place in the market for a full-size SUV. You have some nice detail, you know, piano gloss finishing here. Look at this chrome. LEDs, projector lamps, great detail. Look at these flares, love that detail right there. And of course, more laser type rims, gorgeous. How about this? Cross Sport, nice. And of course right here, we do have a single touch on there, accent in. And here, more of this flare around here. And this is good because this keeps the rocks off the paint. It's nice to have that. LED taillights, Royale. We're looking at a V6 and more chrome along the back. You'll notice a trailer hitch right there. It is all-wheel drive. Yes, of course, SUVs. Virtually almost all mid-size SUVs are going to be all-wheel drive by today's standards. But there have been lots of problems with some of these. Fueling issues. A lot of these Volkswagens have had problems as well with shifting heads where you had to retorque the head gaskets because the head gaskets were starting to leak and you'd have coolant leaks, clock spring problems at the steering wheel, you know, around the steering wheel, where it carries continuity through to the steering wheel for your controls. There's been lots of electric issues, some engine issues, retorquing of the heads, timing chain problems, water pumps, you name it. Lots of troubles here. Some of it's R&D, some of it's just trying to be too smart and then finding yourself falling flat on your face. And what do we have here? Next on our list is this little hot rod in black. It's a Hyundai. Yes, it is. Look at this. It's got these great grills on here. It actually feels quite sturdy. It has this beautiful, nice matte looking brushed aluminum look here, as well as along the bottom. It's a great looking unit. How about this vertical arrangement? Looks kind of interesting. And look, there's even a vent in here somewhere. I'm not sure what this is all about, but obviously some kind of airflow. Yeah, they have some cool wheels. Larger profile, almost kind of a laser cut look too. Larger profile, so it'll be a softer ride. Of course, you've got this nice look. I love this sculpted look right here. You have a unique type of light. Another little tip right there for your flash. We're going with that brushed aluminum look again. Single touch access in there. And as we cycle around, we have these great little details around the flare. You can see it comes and then they scoop in. Very similar to the Atlas in some ways. Here as well, look at this vertical light, LED. Love that. And as well, we're the Palisade, specifically by Hyundai. Hyundai has had their share of problems. Yeah, this is a gorgeous looking vehicle. Look, you've got the dual pipes right there. You have little access right here. Look, sensors everywhere. There's a lot of electronics in this vehicle, and unfortunately, that's part of the problem. Electrics. Part of the issue is they talk about backup camera issues. They talk about potential Apple CarPlay syncing issues, wind noise, vibration shuddering from the wheels, and unfortunately, because I know what I know, it's hard to ignore the fact that Hyundai and Kia have struggled with reliability as related to their engines. Their engines, they've had problems with engine fires, rod bearing problems, and sadly, this is just where they're at. So they are doing a great amount of work to make a better product, more dependable, more reliable, better looking, better performing. Yes, they're creating some really unique designs, but give me some time because I yet don't quite have the faith, because I do believe that there are some issues potentially building. They're imminent. This is a new model yet, time will tell. We're always finding out even new stuff from models that were 2012, 2014. So stuff will evolve with time. Currently, I'm gonna exercise caution. They've had a lot of struggles with quality control, specifically in their engine and electrical systems. That takes us to the most reliable manufacturer that clearly has somehow figured it out year after year after year after year. And we're talking about Toyota right here. Boom. And it's a Forerunner, as you can see right here. Not necessarily the most stylistic, best performing vehicle. Doesn't do the best of everything, but it's just an amazing workhorse. Yeah, you have amazing access, this big barn door look here because it's just easy to get in. It's very versatile and functional. This will hold up well, won't rust out. You also have laser cut type wheels here, lots of profile, so it doesn't take a beating. You don't have all that vibration transferring through the chassis. The vehicle tends to be a little more floaty, so it's not going to perform like a performance car. It feels a little looser, and it actually is meant to drive more like a truck. And a truck it is, because what we have here is in fact a vehicle that sits on a truck chassis. That's right, it's not a unibody like a lot of the modern day SUVs, where unibodies often struggle. They're great tight when they're new, but they don't have the durability that you're getting from a body on frame chassis like we're finding with the Forerunner here. Now we're dealing with a limited, so this is basically almost loaded up. Yeah, you get your LED strips there and more protection body panels. Love the wheels. Look at these. Not everybody loves this. It looks a little fishbowl-like, but there it is, and a projector lamp behind that. Of course, chrome detail all the way up front, this big bar front grille, but Toyota is just impeccable. But what is it that makes this vehicle so reliable, and how is it that Toyota has figured this out? Well, Toyota takes great pride in what they do, and this is not new. This is not a trend. This is not by accident. That comes from an underlying culture, how they build their cars, and they've always had that reputation. Toyota's had some misses along the way, absolutely. They've had porous engine blocks, they've had sudden acceleration, they've had some weak fuel pumps, and they've also had some issues with some of the latest water pumps that have gone electric. So there's been some problems, absolutely. But when they figure that out, they move on, they fix it right away. They don't mess about, and they know it's a weakness, they fix it. They don't mess, like I said. So what you have is a situation with a 4-liter V6 naturally aspirated, that's right, no turbos. 270 horsepower strapped up to a good old-fashioned torque converter automatic transmission means it's reliable, it's simple, strong gearbox, strong engine, and it means because the costs are relatively affordable, people tend to stay on top of the maintenance as well. But things are generally over-engineered and under-stressed. Now, they're not the most innovative brands, and as you know, Toyota has recently said they're not getting full EV either. They're going to continue developing their hydrogen systems. We're going to look down that technology wagon. They're also going to continue down their hybrid technology. But Toyota is going with what they know, simple, reliable, and selling a great product for the masses. Now, I'm not here to sell Toyota, but I am saying if one of my grandparents came to me, Mark, what kind of vehicle should I drive? I don't want something flash and dash. I want something simple, reliable. I don't have to put a lot of money in, and I just put the gas in and I go. It's going to be a vehicle like this. It's going to be a Toyota Camry if you want a car, a Forerunner if you want an SUV. That's what reliability is in an SUV. And with all of that said, check it out right there. Some of the worst vehicles, 5 as a matter of fact, that you never want to touch with a 25-foot pole. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.